serious. All right, 20 seconds. Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in.
You're listening to Radio Lex, WLXU 93.9 LPFM in Lexington, Kentucky, the voice of the people.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of Lexington Community Radio or its board of
Hey,
directors.
Wade. Good to see you, buddy.
The views expressed are solely those of the programmers.
You are listening to Off the Cuff. Now, here's your host, Adam Banks.
Welcome, everybody, to Off the Cuff. I am Adam Banks, coming at you live from Lexington, Kentucky. Thank you for listening to the show, and thank you for tuning in to WLXU 93.9 FM. In addition to listening on the radio, you can check out our Facebook live stream at Off the Cuff with Adam Banks, or you can stream the show live from the station website at radiolex.us. I am broadcasting from the Deborah Hensley Studios here at Radio Lex on North Limestone. It is February the 15th, 2024, 4:01 to be exact. And ladies and gentlemen, I know that the Super Bowl has already passed. It's already been a few days since the Super Bowl, but really we don't wrap up the Super Bowl talk until Adam Banks from Off the Cuff gives his opinion of what he thought of the Super Bowl. So let's go back and review it, because really, does it even matter when anybody else talks about how the Super Bowl was if it wasn't Off the Cuff with Adam Banks, right? So let's start with Super Bowl 58. How do you rank it? I think it was pretty good. I think the game itself was a very decent game, but let's start from the beginning. It starts with performances, as always. I think the first performance to start off the Super Bowl was Andrea Day. I have no idea who that is, but she sang Lift Every Voice and Sing. I don't know her, but it was a great showcase of her vocal range at the Super Bowl. It's a good way to open the show up. She's a very beautiful woman and a great singer. I just don't know who it is. Now, next up we had Posty, one of my favorites, singing America the Beautiful. It's amazing how Post Malone sounds versus how he looks. He doesn't look like he would sound like he does, but covered in tattoos, face tattoos, neck tattoos, but an amazing performer. And then, of course, the national anthem sang by my gal, Reba McEntire. Now, the thing about Reba singing the national anthem, as you guys know, it's one of the biggest things that people bet on. And you can bet on the over-under. Will Reba go more than 85 seconds singing the national anthem, or will she go under that? Well, listening to Reba sing, it sounded like she had to have the over on the bet herself, because she really slowed things down at the end so much that it was pretty noticeable. Take a listen. She said the brave twice. She said the brave twice. So because of that, it took her an extra 10 seconds to sing the Super Bowl. And guess what? It did go over. So if you had the over on the anthem, you would have won the bet. But she was dressed in a blazer and black slacks and a very country buckle. And I love Reba McEntire. She is an icon, no doubt. I loved her sitcom when she was on television, Reba. And speaking of her sitcom. I've read reports that a new TV pilot is coming this April. It's a new show about Reba. So the storyline is it's about Reba and her half-sister who she didn't know about. And they both inherit their father's restaurant. Reba is not happy to share the business with her new sibling. At the moment, it is unclear which actors and actresses will join the Reba McEntire pilot. But Reba, she killed it in television. Some people call Reba one of the best sitcoms ever. And that is an accomplishment. Not only did she dominate country music, but she went over into TV and dominated television. It's hard to do it in both. There's very few people that dominate both industries like that, but Reba was very good. Now, let's talk about the game itself. Let's talk about the Super Bowl game itself. The Kansas City Chiefs, of course, we know, beat the 49ers. They are the winners. The attendance was announced at 61,629 people at Allegiant Stadium. Now, we all know that that is not very many people for the Super Bowl because that stadium doesn't hold many people, but it was still in Vegas. People still enjoyed being there. The allure of Vegas, it was awesome. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Andy Reid, they have made the Kansas City Chiefs a dynasty now. They're already thinking a three-peat. They just had their back-to-back Super Bowl championship. First, they had to become the first back-to-back Super Bowl champions in 19 years. So if they become a three-time, three-peat champion, that's a dynasty. Now, I'm not going to say that Patrick Mahomes is the new Tom Brady. Tom Brady is Tom Brady. He'll always be in a category of himself. He is the GOAT. Patrick Mahomes won't catch Tom Brady. He just won't. Tom Brady has 7 rings. Patrick Mahomes has, 2, 3? You're not catching him. He's got 3 rings, and Tom Brady has 7. That means you've got to win 4 more rings. Ain't happening. Very hard to do. But it doesn't take away the fact that he is still a great quarterback. Mahomes threw a 3-yard touchdown pass to Mecole Hardman in overtime, and the Chiefs rally to beat the San Francisco 49ers 25-22, becoming the NFL's 9th repeat Super Bowl champs. So we all seen the many cutaways to Taylor Swift cheering on her boyfriend Kelce. I didn't mind the cutaways. In a lot of ways, it's more entertaining than watching the game. I mean, we all know what a snap looks like. We all know what a tackle looks like. We all know what it looks like when a touchdown happens. So show us something different. And in the press box, there was a lot going on with Taylor Swift. You had Ice Spice up in there. You had Blake Lively up in there. And Taylor Swift, you had her, chugging beer, chugging liquor, all kinds of crazy things going on in that booth. And I wanted to see more of the booth because anything that you can do to break up the monotony and take it off of the game, I'm all for. The 28-year-old Patrick Mahomes becomes the 4th starting quarterback to win 3 Super Bowls, joining Tom Brady, Joe Montana, and Terry Bradshaw, and Troy Aikman as the second youngest. The most excitement in the first half came when a frustrated Travis Kelce, bumped Andy Reid on the sideline, knocking the Chiefs' 65-year-old coach a few steps back because apparently he was frustrated that the coach took him out. Now, to me, that's got an abuser written all over it. Travis Kelce, they're trying to make excuses for him. Andy Reid was like, oh, that's just our relationship. No, I've seen that type of behavior from people before. Getting up in a 65-year-old man's face and screaming at him at your age and at your size and at your ability is so it's so corny, it's so tacky, and it's not a good look. It's very bullyish. Standing up to people that could whoop you is something that you probably wouldn't see him do. But of course he's going to go and stand in front of a 65-year-old man and yell at him because what's Andy Reid going to do? Now, there were plenty of stars other than just Taylor Swift in the building. You had LeBron James, Paul McCartney, Jay-Z, tons and tons of celebrities. The commercials, I said a couple of weeks ago, they were going to cost 30 seconds, or they were going to cost $7 million for every 30 seconds that you have a commercial air. The commercials, they were decent this year. Some of my favorite, I like the BetMGM commercial and Vince Vaughn was trying to tell Tom Brady he's not allowed to win anymore because he's won enough. So it was all about making Tom Brady just not bet anything because everybody was sick of seeing him win everything he did. I think Pluto TV had a pretty creative commercial where it was about a farm growing a bunch of human couch potatoes. I like the Pringles commercial where Chris Pratt, he dressed up as the Pringles man and became really the spokesman for Pringles. I like the Uber Eats commercial. I thought that was good, where it was basically talking about Jennifer Aniston having a bad memory and forgetting who some of her cast member was, more specifically David Schwimmer. I like the Snapchat commercial. I actually really liked the Snapchat commercial because it was basically talking about how their social media app is the funnest app versus Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, because it's not all about likes and getting likes and the pressure of getting likes. Snapchat's more about just having fun and sending pictures with silly filters on it. And it made a lot of sense. I liked it. I liked the Mountain Dew commercial because Aubrey Plaza's on there. I liked the Kia commercials. I liked the E-Trade commercials where it had the talking babies. The Dorito commercials was good. The Microsoft commercial was pretty awesome because it was talking about their new AI system, Copilot, which is apparently something that's going to help you do anything. It's kind of like a Chat GPT. So those were some of the commercials that I liked. The halftime show, let's talk about that. Usher doing the halftime show. A Super Bowl performance is an elaborate showcase of an artist's work. That's what a Super Bowl performance, halftime performance is. And Usher certainly did showcase a lot of his songs. He did little snippets of about 18, 19 songs. To me, it was a typical Usher performance. He stayed true to his style. I mean, if anybody asked me what you think of Usher's performance, I would say this. It was a typical Usher performance. I was never an Usher fan. Never. I mean, even I grew up with Usher's music. His biggest hits was when I was in middle school, high school, and early college. And I still, even when he was in his prime, always thought Usher was a little meh. And the performance was very much an Usher performance. So I'm not knocking it and saying it was a bad performance. I'm not going to say it was a wonderful performance. It was just an Usher performance. He took his shirt off. He danced around. He sweated a lot. It is what it is. But Usher, to me, he just felt very 20 years ago. And if I had to give it a ranking, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. It wasn't bad. It wasn't awful. Or whatnot. He sang a lot of songs, like I said. He sang Caught Up. That's how he started it off. You Don't Have to Call, Superstar, Loving This Club, Ain't Got You, My Boo, Confessions, Nice and Slow, Burn, Bad Girl, You Got It Bad, OMG, Turned Down for What? And he ended it with Yeah. Had a few surprise guests pop up with him. Lil Jon, Ludacris, will.i.am, Alicia Keys, all kinds of celebrity showing up with Usher. But that, folks, pretty much wraps up the Super Bowl. Now, the celebration happened yesterday. There was a parade that the Chiefs went, after every time a team wins the Super Bowl, they have a parade to celebrate the team. And some idiot, or idiots, I should say, had a shootout at the parade where one person was killed and several other people was injured. It's really sad and it's scary that we live in a world where you can't even go to a parade to celebrate your team, to celebrate a victory. It's sad. We know the type of world that we're living in. We have been conditioned to see news like this over the last decade, but it doesn't make it any easier. And it just lets you know, it's always a reminder to let you know that really you can't hardly go anywhere without worrying about getting shot. Always be aware of your surroundings, regardless of where you're at, even a parade. Thank you to the civilians there at the parade that attacked the shooter. One of the shooters, there was just a regular fan there that attacked a shooter. And to me, sir, I salute you for that. You saved a bunch of people's lives, and you should be recognized for your heroic gesture. But that, folks, was the 2024 Super Bowl. Football, NFL football, is officially over for the year. We won't see it again until next year. Now the complete spotlight is on college basketball, which is my favorite. But, folks, we do have a big show coming up, and I want to give my audience a little task to help me out here on the show. Before we come back for a commercial break, if you could just put it on the show thread. I know the Lexington Counterclocks at 4 o'clock was supposed to announce the new name of their baseball team. They have been pointing all signs of it going back to the original name, Lexington Legends. But because I'm on the air, I don't know what they decided to call it. So if you could just let me know on the show thread what the Lexington Counterclocks are now called, I would really appreciate it, because we're going to talk about that on the next segment. So folks, we have a great show ahead of you today. Stick with us. You are listening to Off the Cuff with Adam Banks. We will be right back. Hello, what's up, everyone? I'm Adam Banks, and I'm the host of Off the Cuff. You are listening to Radio Lex, the voice of the people, WLXU 93.9 FM, Lexington.
Radio Lex has the support of vinyl sponsor Gloria Hansen. Thanks, Gloria.
Driving while texting is 6 times more dangerous than driving while intoxicated. Driving while sending one text is equivalent to driving the length of a football field blindfolded. Hi, this is Scott with State Farm, reminding you to be a good neighbor. Put your phone away and keep your eyes and your mind on the road.
Let's go places safely, Lexington. Are you under the influence? If you're taking prescription medications, you may be. Prescription drugs are involved in half of fatalities among drunk drivers. Benzodiazepines and opioids are the most common. Some antidepressants can increase crash risk by 40%. A common ingredient in over-the-counter cold medicines can impair your ability to maintain speed, follow at a distance, and maintain your lane. Hi, I'm Bev from Toyota, reminding you to talk to your doctor or pharmacist about driving risks that may be associated with your medications.
You're listening to Radio Lex, the voice of the people. WLXU 93.9 LPFM, Lexington, Kentucky.
Let's go places safely, Lexington. Hi, I'm Nikki from Toyota, reminding you to travel safely and share the road. In Kentucky, it's not uncommon to encounter farm equipment on the road. Patience is the rule when sharing the road with farm equipment. Keep your distance and don't tailgate. The farmer won't be speeding up. Make sure the farmer can see you in rearview mirrors. Loud machinery may prevent hearing your vehicle approach. Use extreme caution when passing. When the farmer veers to the right, it may be to make a left turn, not to let you pass, so watch out. Be patient and slow down. Enjoy the countryside. Together, car and truck drivers and farm equipment operators can make our roads safer for everyone.
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. Several people on the show thread saying that the Lexington Counterclocks will not be announcing the new name of the baseball team until 5:30. So we won't know until we're off the air on whether or not what the new name will be. But listen, they have been pointing all signs of it going back to the original name, Lexington Legends, because they said the announcement will be legendary. They even put a billboard up in Lexington with the old original logo of the Legends mustache. And then they even posted a picture on the social media account this morning of the Counterclocks of an old Legends t-shirt. It only showed half of the t-shirt. So it makes sense if they go back to being called the Lexington Legends. The Lexington Counterclocks was what the team went to last year when they were bought out by new owners, and the new owners renamed the team. Usually that sometimes happens when new owners take ownership, but the fans were very frustrated. And of course, anytime a name changes, fans get frustrated. They don't like newness. But come on, is there a cooler name than Lexington Legends? How can you top it? You can't. So why change it? And if you are going to change it, at least make it something a little decent. They didn't. They called them the Counterclocks, folks. That's what they called our new baseball team, the Counterclocks. Well, new owners now own the Lexington Counterclocks, and it was a new company called Temerity Baseball, and they own other baseball minor league teams. Now the Counterclocks is their new team that they own, and they say they will be changing the name, and they're going to announce it today. Probably back to the Lexington Legends, which I hope. Now, we know in many cases a brand's name can make or break it. I mean, what you name your company can make or break you. Do you know that many household name companies that you are familiar with started out with a completely different name? And I started thinking and looking into some of well-known companies that we know by name that actually didn't start out with that original name. For instance, AOL. That's probably something that even the young kids don't know. But AOL didn't always used to be called AOL. They originated as Quantum Computer Services. And they switched it to American Online in 1991. And then in April 2006, they changed it from American Online to just AOL. Google was not always called Google. It started off being called Backrub. And then they changed it to Google in 1998. Best Buy has not always been called Best Buy. It used to be called Sound of Music, and it was an electronics store that specialized in stereos that was founded in 1966. And then in 1981, the store, Sound of Music, was going out of business, so they had this they had a tornado hit the store, so they had a tornado sale to get out of the new building that they were in, to get out of the old building. And it was the biggest sale of all time. And the marketing campaign for the sale was Best Buys. And they did so well during that marketing campaign, they just decided to call the whole company Best Buy. And that happened in 1983. Apple Inc. used to be called Apple Computers. Steve Jobs said he wanted to change it to just Apple because he says that we're more than just a computer company now. We have iPads, we have iPhones, we have AirPods. So we're more than just a computer company. So now Apple Inc., or it used to be called Apple Computers, but now it's called Apple Inc. BlackBerry, the company BlackBerry used to be called Research in Motion. Pepsi Cola. Can you guys believe that Pepsi Cola didn't always used to be called Pepsi Cola? It used to be called Brad's Drink. Yes, back in 1893, a North Carolina pharmacist named Caleb Bradham started experimenting with a few soft drink recipes. One of these bore his name Brad's Drink. And in 1898, Brad's Drink was renamed to Pepsi Cola, which is now one of the largest soft drink brands in the entire world. Sony used to be called Tokyo Tushun Kongo. It's a good thing they switched that. Starbucks used to be called Starbucks Coffee, Tea, and Spice, which kind of just like Apple. They decided to drop the tea and spice and just shorten it down to Starbucks. Nike used to be called Blue Ribbon Sports. Yes, it was known as Blue Ribbon Sports. And it ended up changing over to Nike, and they named it Nike after the Greek goddess of victory. Hertz Rent-A-Car used to be called Drive Yourself. eBay used to be called Auction Web. Let's see, IBM used to be called Computing, Tabulating, Recording Corporation. Nintendo used to be called Maracaifu Company. And then they switched it to Nintendo Playing Card Company because it used to just be about playing cards. And then they switched it to just being called Nintendo. Subway used to be called Pete's Super Submarines. Circuit City used to be called Ward's Company. Playboy, yes, Playboy used to be called Stag Party. And I found this to be interesting because it says here that Hugh Hefner has said that he wanted to call his magazine Stag Party, but changed it to Playboy as a last-minute decision. He said, quote, "I wanted to call the magazine Stag Party, influenced by a cartoon book that I had. I was looking for a male figure of some kind, and I thought of an animal in tuxedo would set us apart," which he did create the rabbit in a tuxedo. And he said that 1 month before publishing, he received a letter from Stag Magazine saying that the name was an infringement on their title. So Hugh Hefner, last-minute decision, quickly changed the name to Playboy. And now Playboy, at one point in time, was considered one of the most recognizable brands in magazine history. Firefox used to be called Firebird. PayPal used to be called Confinity. Yahoo used to be called Jerry's Guide to the World Wide Web. The dating app Tinder used to be called Matchbox. Yes, Matchbox. It says 57 million people are estimated to be using Tinder, but it was originally called Matchbox, a nod to the many literary link-ups between love and fire. There was just one problem. It was a tad similar to Match.com, so they rethought the name. That would kind of still be just kind of something that would flare up romance. So they thought Tinder would be a good name for the app. And hey, it worked out pretty good. Kentucky Fried Chicken changed their name to KFC. So they are no longer Kentucky Fried Chicken. They're now called KFC. They've just shortened it down to the letters. Marathon candy bars, you now know them as Snickers. They used to be called Marathon candy bars. And then finally, Amazon used to not be called Amazon. They were called Cadabra before they were Amazon. And then two more here. Facebook changed their name to Meta back in 2021. Still, a lot of people call it Facebook, but technically that's not the name. And then finally, the tobacco giant company Philip Morris is no longer called Philip Morris. They changed their name to Alteria. That's right, Alteria. And I think a lot of people still call it Philip Morris, though. But there have been a lot of name changes throughout time of many different companies, and sometimes a name will make or break you. I think about a lot of these companies' success. Would it still have the same impact if it was still called their original name? Like, if Pepsi was called Brad's Drink still, would it still be a popular soft drink if it was called Brad's Drink? I don't know. So it just goes to show you how important it is to have a good name. So I'm excited to see what the Legends or what the Lexington Counterclocks do. Hopefully they do go back to the Legends. I know that their attendance suffered. I know that their record suffered. Everything suffered for the Counterclocks when they were known as the Counterclocks, which just goes back to my original point. Your name matters. Your name matters. So we'll see what happens when they do a name change. Maybe it's the Legends, maybe it's not, but we'll find out at 5:30. But ladies and gentlemen, we still have another segment to go. Stick with us. We will be right back.
Let's go places safely, Lexington. Hi, I'm Nikki from Toyota, reminding you to travel safely and share the road. In Kentucky, it's not uncommon to encounter farm equipment on the road. Patience is the rule when sharing the road with farm equipment. Keep your distance and don't tailgate. The farmer won't be speeding up. Make sure the farmer can see you in rearview mirrors. Loud machinery may prevent hearing your vehicle approach. Use extreme caution when passing. When the farmer veers to the right, it may be to make a left turn, not to let you pass, so watch out. Be patient and slow down. Enjoy the countryside. Together, car and truck drivers and farm equipment operators can make our roads safer for everyone.
More than 150,000 collisions took place on Kentucky roads last year. The number one factor in all these collisions? Not paying attention. Hi, this is Josh Haynes with State Farm, reminding you to be a good neighbor. Keep your eyes and your mind on the road.
Radio Lex has the support of vinyl sponsor Kentucky Utilities. lge-ku.com.
Hey, Misty. Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. Monday Night Raw came to Rupp Arena. You know your boy had to go and watch good old-fashioned wrestling in Lexington. I loved the event, didn't so much like the show. And what I mean by that, the event itself was awesome. The event itself was awesome. So I had these amazing seats because I was a seat filler for the WWE that night. I had a buddy who worked at Rupp Arena who hooked me up with some tickets, and those tickets were seat filling tickets. And I had never been a seat filler before. So let me explain to you what a seat filler is. A seat filler is someone who sits in somebody's seats when they go to the concession stands or the bathroom because they are in such a prime seat on the television camera that they don't want, the WWE don't want their seat to be empty in the camera's view. So they want somebody to sit in their seat while they're gone until they get back. So all throughout the night, I was moving around to different seats, but every seat was amazing and every seat was on camera view. I was seeing things at that event that I had always dreamed of when I was a little boy. I was so close to the ring. I actually got to even touch the little cushion railing that they have at ringside that I've always wanted to touch my entire life. I got to be ringside at a Monday Night Raw. Bucket list, check. Check that off. I got to finally do it. And even when you're not sitting in somebody's seat, seat fillers have a home base. And the home base was still on the floor 10 rows back from the ring. So you really never had a bad seat at the event. It was amazing. The event itself was great. Loved it. But it just saddens me of how bad they have let wrestling get. The show itself, Monday Night Raw, was very, very underwhelming, and it breaks my heart that wrestling used to be one of the greatest pieces of entertainment on television in the 90s and in the early 2000s, and it's just gotten so bad. I mean, my dad, who hasn't watched the product in 20 years, he watched it on Mondays to see if he could see me on TV, and he was like, son, I had to turn it off because I couldn't take how bad the show was. Think about that. You can't even sit and watch the show because it's so bad. Now, it kind of got muddied when I was there. I didn't really realize the show was that bad because I was enjoying the event so much. But the product itself, it's just not that great anymore. It's bad knowing I could work a crowd more than some of the people on the talent roster. They would come out, they're bad on the mic, it's very scripted, and they're just not working their crowd like they should. Back in the day when I watched people like Mick Foley, Stone Cold, The Rock, Shawn Michaels, Triple H on the microphone, I knew that, hey, I'm watching the best of the best do it. I couldn't do it better than them. But when I'm sitting there watching the show now, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I could do better than them, I can do better than those guys, that's bad. That's bad. When I could do better than what's on the current WWE roster, I could work a crowd that's better. But anytime I go to a wrestling show like that, it's still fun, but it just reminds me of the good old days. Because this new stuff, it don't have that edginess. It don't have even the things that blur the lines of reality and fiction. They did this one thing at the WrestleMania press conference a couple of weeks ago where The Rock slapped Cody Rhodes in the face. And that was the closest thing that we got to the old stuff in the last 25 years. They used to always blur the lines of fiction and reality in wrestling old school days. They there used to be something called pipe bombs in wrestling. And what a pipe bomb is, it's a promo that goes beyond traditional storytelling, often breaking the fourth wall, and is at least partially coming from a place of truth. So basically, it's where a person goes out on the microphone and they speak from their heart. It's unscripted. Nobody in the back knows what they're going to say. Many wrestlers have frequently attempted to give their promos a sense of realism, with a few of them actually effectively dropping a pipe bomb. I'm talking going out there and really making an impact because your promo was so real. So I started thinking back of some of the most memorable pipe bombs in wrestling. And like I said, a pipe bomb is basically when a promo in wrestling is real. When they go off the script and they speak from the heart and they speak real with nobody knowing what anybody's going to say. So I have went through and I have found some of the most memorable pipe bombs in wrestling history. Now, the following clips that I'm going to play here is pipe bombs from wrestling back in the day, like this one, for instance, November 15th, 2001, when Paul Heyman dropped the pipe bomb on Vince McMahon during the final SmackDown before Team WWF faced off against his ECW team. So Paul Heyman used to own this company called ECW, and ECW was competing against WWF back in the day. ECW was a better product, better than WWF back in the day. They were edgy, they had hardcore matches, they had this attitude, this entertainment that the WWF didn't even have. But the WWF, some people say that Vince McMahon and the WWF stole a lot of Paul Heyman, the owner of ECW's, ideas and put it in their show. And when they did that, they had such a big platform, more eyeballs seen it, and they got credit for it. So when Paul Heyman and Vince McMahon finally was in the ring for the very first time together ever, Paul Heyman actually got to go out and face Vince McMahon face to face and confront him. And this was a real promo, a real pipe bomb that Paul Heyman dropped on Vince McMahon, letting Vince McMahon know how he really felt about him. And you can tell the realness in the promo. Take a listen at this infamous pipe bomb. And that, folks, was the pipe bomb dropped by Paul Heyman on Vince McMahon. He was telling folks every word the truth. Every word the truth. You got to think about that. Think about all the things he said. There was some truth in it. Okay, this next pipe bomb, this memorable pipe bomb in wrestling history that I'm going to talk about is the infamous Vince Russo pipe bomb that he dropped on Hulk Hogan at Bash at the Beach in the year 2000. So basically what happened here is Hulk Hogan, when he signed his contract with WCW, he had creative control, which means he had control over the storylines. Something you'd never want to give your wrestlers. You don't want to give your wrestlers creative control. Well, Hulk Hogan was supposed to lose, or was supposed to win the belt at Bash at the Beach, or he was supposed to lose the match at Bash at the Beach. He wasn't supposed to win the belt, but he wanted to win. And he went and told the management at WCW, hey, I know I'm supposed to lose, but I don't want to. I want to win. And because I have creative control, you have to do what I say. So Vince Russo, the head writer at the time, was so mad that Hulk Hogan became the champion again because Hulk Hogan wanted to be the champion. Vince Russo made Jeff Jarrett lay down. That way the whole world could see Hulk Hogan really didn't beat Jeff Jarrett fair and square, because Jeff Jarrett just laid down and let Hulk Hogan pin him. So basically, Hulk Hogan was like, you know what? This is the reason the company's going in the toilet, because of this crap right here. And Hulk Hogan won the match underwhelmingly. And then Vince Russo ended up coming out and dropping a pipe bomb on Hulk Hogan, talking about how Hulk Hogan is the worst thing in wrestling. Take a listen. So basically, sorry, I was trying my best to block out that language. Hopefully it did block it out. But I know when Hulk Hogan won the belt, Russo was so mad he went out there and said, you know what? He might have won the belt, but that belt don't matter anymore. So we're going to have a new title match. And that got real. That got real. That was one of the best times in wrestling because it was real. Now, finally, here's our last pipe bomb that I'm going to play for the audience. This is from CM Punk on June 27th, 2011. And he went off script, grabbed the microphone, and started talking about how bad he hated WWF management. Take a listen. Dwayne's The Rock, by the way. The thing about it is here is you think this is a shoot, but it's not. He's being real. He's being real. So they cut the mic off at that point when he continued to talk and nobody could hear him. And then he disappeared from wrestling. That was in 2011. You never seen CM Punk again in the WWE, obviously because of that shoot, but you never seen him again until, 2 months ago? He finally returned. But that, folks, is one of the reasons wrestling was so good back in the day, was because there was such a thing called pipe bombs. Such a thing called pipe bombs. All right, folks, it's now time to take Off the Cuff's Song of the Week break. And, folks, we do have a special song to play for Off the Cuff Song of the Week break. This is a Kentucky heavy garage rock band playing a song called Guitar Man. And what's so special about this is going to be a record. I believe this is the first actual vinyl record I've played on the radio. And this is a record from my dad's band. Back when he was in high school, he had a band called Rox, R-O-X. And this particular song is his band performing the song Guitar Man. So my dad doesn't do the vocals on this song. He does the guitar. So he's a guitar man. But folks, here is Joe Banks and Rox with Guitar Man. We'll be back after the song. Hey, Elaine from Ohio, 52 and sunny. It's a little rainy here, but it feels good. Hey, Kathy. Thank you for saying you're enjoying the show. Yes, Elaine, I lost respect for Travis Kelce, too, after that. Oh, DeMonte, you give the Usher performance 10 out of 10? Like I said, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. It didn't wow me. You know what I'm saying? I give it a 5 out of 10. Kathy said she saw on the news that 3 were arrested and guns were seized. Good. Good. Oh, Valerie likes the shirt. Thank you. Carol Johnson Smart says they should bring back public hanging. That would make people stop shooting, or at least make people think twice. This is my dad playing the guitar. Oh, Linnell, you like Usher? I know you. Hey, I know you're an Usher fan, Linnell. I remember that was your man. I bet you were glued to that television set. It just makes it so special that is my dad on the guitar with that solo, and that was Rox with Guitar Man. All right, folks, we are going to, let's do Off the Cuff's quote of the week before we take our last break. This week's quote comes from Henry Ford, and Henry Ford was an American industrialist and business magnate. He was a founder of the Ford Motor Company, and he said this: The only real mistake is the one from which we learn nothing. And basically what that means is, in order to achieve something, you simply must try one thing, gather results, evaluate it, and tweak it if it don't work. Another key to this concept is to tweak each attempt based on the results that you get. Thomas Edison, for instance, is a great example of that. He tried 10,000 different ways to create a light bulb before finally getting it right. So thank God he didn't quit after the first time, or the second, or the 5,000th, or the 7,000th time, or we would have no light bulbs. But because of his persistence and not giving up, we have light bulbs. So if you make a mistake, don't be ashamed of it. Don't be sad that you made the mistake. Learn from it. You only make a real mistake when you learn nothing from the mistake. And that, folks, is your quote of the week. Stick with us. We still have one more segment to go. We'll be right back.
umukobwa wanjye witegura kubyara umwana ni ingenzi gushaka muganga ushobora kukwitaho mu gihe utwite inkingo za covid agakwiga akaniga n'ibicurane zibarinda mwembi wowe n'umwana wawe uko akura gufata indi miti bishobora kutaba byiza mu gihe utwite vugana na muganga wawe mbere yo gufata
Valor says, hey, Dad did rock. Dad certainly did rock. He still sings. He sings Christian music now. Country, he sings a little bit of country music too, but he's definitely a very talented musician.
Radio Lex has the support of corner sponsor, Bluegrass Community Foundation, bgcf.org.
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. Last segment of the hour. Tim McGraw, who is singing this song right here, one of his biggest classics. I like it, I love it. He's coming to Lexington on June the 15th to Rupp Arena. So get your tickets for the country icon. Folks, it is Black History Month, and here on the show for Black History Month, I've been taking a famous black figure throughout time and celebrating them. We've celebrated a ton of famous black figures. We've celebrated black inventors, Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman. Well, this week on the show, since it is still February, let's celebrate another famous black figure, and we have to put this guy on our list as a very influential African American, and that is former President Barack Obama. He was elected as president in November of 2008 and held the office from 2009 to 2017 at 47 years old, one of the youngest presidents that we ever had. And how historical was it that day when America elected its first black president? I don't know how much more importance that could have been for the country. It just showed that this country is not one-way thinking. We don't have tunnel vision. We actually give everybody an equal playing field in this country to be elected as president. And let me play this clip for you. Obama, one of the last Q&As that he had at the White House before he left office, a lady asked him, they asked Obama, do you think there'll ever be another black president? And I think that he gave a great speech on this. Take a listen.
At some point, but nobody really knows what's going on.
So I love that answer because he was basically saying that this is America. Everybody has an equal playing field here in this country. And he's saying that eventually we're going to have all different types of people that have held this office. Different people of different color and shapes and sizes. And that's what America is all about to its core. It really is. And that's just one of the reasons America is so great. All right, folks, that pretty much wraps up another episode of Off the Cuff with Adam Banks. If you liked what you heard today, you'll probably like our previous episodes. You can subscribe to us on podcast. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever podcasts are played on major platforms. You can find Off the Cuff with Adam Banks. Follow the show on social media at Off the Cuff with Adam Banks. You can follow me, the host, on social media at The Adam Banks. We release new episodes every Thursday from 4 to 5 right here on WLXU 93.9, which means we will be back same time, same place. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Adam Banks, the king of radio, and this is Off the Cuff. We'll see you next Thursday. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you next week.